Tim Walz, Governor Walz, saying last night he frequently checks Tesla stock, in doing so to, quote, give me a little boost during the day. How should Americans view politicians who take pride in the downfall of an American car company?
I think that's quite sad, but I think Governor Walz, unfortunately, is living a sad existence after his devastating defeat on November 5th.
What an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. It has got to be a horrible feeling to be wanted by no one. Tim Walz is like the guy who wasn't invited to his own birthday party. This dude was the dork in high school who received an invitation to the party with the wrong address on it. No one seems to want this doofus around. He is like a stray dog desperately looking for a home, but at least a stray dog has a chance of getting adopted. Tim Walz has no chance of being adopted by either political party. You don't have to take my word for it. Uncle KC always comes with the proof. Headline at the woke Daily Beast: why Tim Walz has a bad case of main character syndrome. This poor guy, he's not even the main character in the huge embarrassing failure of the week. That prestigious honor went to Jasmine Crockett this week. For those that don't know, Tim Walz, he has been running around the country all week in what appears to be a presidential campaign. I know, it's weird. The election was just 5 months ago, where Tim Walz received a brutal case of the bruise caboose after getting his ass kicked by Donald Trump in the election. But for some reason, after months of therapeutic preparation H, Timmy Walz is back on the campaign trail. One word I keep seeing used when describing Tim Walz is different. And it's true. It's true. Tim Walz is damn sure different. But being different, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Matter of fact, I have always strived to be different. I have never been a we guy, even as a child. I never liked to follow the crowd. I'm not a team player. I always wanted to do things differently than everyone else. If everyone was wearing their hat backwards, I would turn my hat to the side. If everyone was going this way, I was going that way. I never liked following the crowd because a lot of times following the crowd will lead you to bad decisions. You know, like following some doofus named Fauci. When I told my friends and family that I was quitting my job to pursue YouTube full time, everyone thought I was crazy. What are you going to do about health insurance? Health insurance is a ripoff. What about your 401k? What about having a steady paycheck? Don't you want safety and security? No, because safety and security don't exist. There is no such thing as safe. There is no such thing as a secure job. Can YouTube be volatile? Yeah, it can, but it's no more volatile than my old job was. My worst months on YouTube are still a hell of a lot better than what they were paying me. One of the reasons that I was so secure in my decision to quit my job, even though it was a very big risk, one of the reasons I was so secure in that decision is because everyone was against it. There was not a single person in my life who thought it was a good idea for me to quit my job. And that told me all I needed to know. When everyone is telling me to go one way, I'm going the opposite direction. So it's not always a bad thing to strive to be different, especially when you have aspirations of becoming president, which Deacon Timothy Walz clearly does. But there is a fine line, a very, very fine line between being different and being weird. Unfortunately for our good friend Timothy, he is the latter. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Yesterday on the second channel, talked about the disastrous start to Major League Baseball season and how I think it is a positive sign for Major League Baseball. Tomorrow, We're going to be talking about Mike Wilbon from Pardon the Interruption, criticizing ESPN and the rest of the mainstream sports media. So if you haven't already, head over to the second channel and subscribe. In most cases, once the campaign is over or their time in office concludes, most vice presidents, they have a tendency to disappear, at least nationally. Take Mike Spence, for example. Has anyone seen Mike Spence lately? I know his disappearance wasn't exactly voluntary. Once America told Mike Spence to get off my TV, he really didn't have another choice. Hillary Clinton, she picked, I think it was Tim Kaine as her vice president. Once the campaign was over, he pretty much disappeared. Barry Obama, he dealt with Johnny B. Biden for 8 years. After the Trumper won in 2016, Johnny B. was nowhere to be found. They had to pull him out of his Delaware dungeon to convince him to run in 2020. And even when he was running for president and while he was president, he still would not leave the comfort of the dungeon. But Timothy Walz, he seems to be taking a different approach. Instead of accepting the fact that he was a huge embarrassing failure, Tim Walz seems to be on a campaign run to prove he is a huge embarrassing failure. One of the reasons that cackling Cam Harris selected Timmy to be her vice president, Cam knew that he would not overshadow her. Cam knew that Timmy was just as intellectually challenged as she was. But over the past couple of weeks, Timothy has completely overshadowed Cam Harris. Earlier this week, Tim Walz attended a town hall event with some doofus named Beto O'Rourke, Beto O'Rourke, Beta O'Male. Who cares? It doesn't matter what his name is. It's that dude from Texas who constantly tries to fit in with the kids. This seems to be a brand new strategy in the Democratic Party. The increased cursing, the more laid-back approach, the doubling down on their dedication to the woke wiener. The Democrats are trying to be appealing to the cool kids. Which, by the way, have you ever wondered why? Have you ever wondered why Democrats base their platform on emotion? Have you ever wondered why they specifically target young people and women? Have you ever wondered why there seems to be a steep decline of real men in the Democratic Party? Maybe, just maybe, it's because men aren't willing to bite into the shit sandwich. Maybe men have realized they're full of shit. Anyway, Timmy Walz attended a town hall with some male named Beta. Timmy was trying to be cool by using 4-letter words. Timmy was trying to be cool by letting the kids know, I'm down with the big D, diversity is your friend. I love you, you love me, let's make love and diversity. He, she, they, them, and Elizabeth Warren, who identifies as Poetin. Watch it for yourself.
Vote for us so you don't have to see this guy on TV every goddamn day. This might be the most unsatisfactory I told you so political tour in the history of the world. But let's just all agree that Kamala Harris was probably the most qualified person to run for that office. And we're kidding ourselves. We are kidding ourselves if we don't think because we have a highly qualified and accomplished black woman running that's why people voted the other way.
And we let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. I'm having one of those dad talks with him. I was giving Gus my wisdom on what he had done wrong. You know, I was being, because I know these things, right? I'm the dad. In the middle of it, he gives me the old, says the guy who got his ass kicked by Donald Trump. And I'm like, okay.
They don't get it. They just don't get it. For starters, could you imagine having a dad talk with Tim Walz? Hey there, son, it's me, Daddy. It's time for Halloween again. This year, do you mind dressing as my daughter? It'll give you a little break from being my emotional support walrus. Do you understand why I'm not the least bit concerned with the Democrats. The only Democrats that worry me are Gabby Newsom and Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro is a sharp dude. He looks the part. He's a great public speaker. And for now, he doesn't have much to be embarrassed about, at least to my knowledge. Now, Gabby Newsom looks the part too. Gabby is very charismatic. Problem for Gabby, he has got a long record of destruction in the People's Republic of California. Good thing is, Gabby has strong proof that he can solve the immigration problem. He has made life so miserable in the People's Republic that his subjects are fleeing to Mexico. They are leaving multi-million-dollar homes to live in straw huts in Guadalajara. But here's the problem for both Gabby and Josh Shapiro. They're going to either have to accommodate or fight the radical wing of the party to get nominated. If they accommodate them, they're not going to receive support from normal people. If they fight deacons at Woke United Methodist, then they're going to have to deal with peaceful protest or what normal people would call riots. They'll have to have all their vehicles equipped with poo-proof windows. As you guys know, the deacons love sharing their poo with motorized vehicles. They'll have to deal with strange people infiltrating their rallies. It really is a lose-lose situation, which is the biggest problem for the Democratic Party. They have allowed themselves to become so infected with the woke fungus. I don't know if it can be cured. You just heard in that clip, Tim Walz is still dedicated to diversity. This dude just said with a straight face that Cam Harris was the most qualified candidate to run for president. No one believes that. If people believed Cam was qualified, she would have been elected. 5 years ago, she was so unqualified, she did not receive a single vote in the Democratic primary, mainly because she dropped out to spare herself the embarrassment of being a huge embarrassing failure. Little did Cam know, 4 years later, her status as a huge embarrassing failure would be confirmed. Clearly, the Democrats are not listening to normal people. The message we sent in November, it couldn't have been any clearer. The Trumper was listening, which is why his approval ratings are high, but the Democrats clearly are not listening. Same with their pretend friends in the mainstream media who are struggling to draw flies to a fresh turd. America sent a clear message. We reject the woke fungus. As long as the Democrats continue their embrace of the woke wiener, they will also continue to lose. Give me your thoughts on this. Tim Walz on the campaign trail. He's hosting town halls with a male named Beta. He's pounding the pavement, speaking to the voters. Seems to me that Tim Walz wants to be the lead pastor at Woke United Methodist. He appears to have presidential aspirations. Now, me personally, I hope he gets nominated. If Tim Walz is the nominee, they don't have a chance. Is that what he is doing? Is Tim Walz trying to be the face of the Democrats? Is he trying to be the nominee? Or is he just begging for attention? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Best way to contact me is through email, btlkc84@gmail.com. See you guys tomorrow.